right, well. Okay. Okay, good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy. Well, you know when you hear that sound, it's time for living room worship. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to my living room. My wife is joining me as my production manager, of course. And my son Matthew's making dino nuggets. And he's pretty excited. He's got a big smile. He's pretty excited about those dino nuggets. Well, I'm really glad to have you with us tonight. And if you've never joined us before for Living Room Worship, then let me give a big, hearty welcome. I'm really glad to have you. Keep this pretty light, and it's just time for us to sing some songs together and hear some goofy stories and those kind of good things. And I got to tell you, I sure love doing this. And I love seeing all the comments. And speaking of comments, my wife is a little disappointed there has not been more heckling going on. And so she's kind of hoping y'all step it up a little bit and begin heckling me just a bit more. I wouldn't know the difference because I just sit here and play my guitar. I came across some wedding promises. These were part of some vows. And I kind of like these, especially this first one. This is real. It says, let's promise to be dumb together, just plain stupid. Make bad choices, eat the wrong things, take wrong turns, and then let's tell great stories, the same ones, forever and ever until no one can stand us but each other. I think my wife and my wife and I are well on our way to doing that. So that's a relationship goal. So there you go. Here's another one, another promise. I promise to never watch the next episode on Netflix without you, no matter how much I want to. Okay, now, this one hits home for me. Because when I started watching The Office, Leah had no intention of watching it.
Nope.
And then she got sucked in at some point early on, and then gave me the dreaded words, don't watch the next episode without me.
Did I say that?
I know. That blew my whole 9 hours on Saturday that I was just going to be binge watching as many seasons as I could. So I've kind of learned that's not a good promise. Or how about, I'll pull my hat down a little so you can all see what I'm wearing here. I promise to comfort you when your baseball team loses. Again.
Baseball. That's
what every spouse of a Mariners fan has said at some time. Although they're off to their best start ever. So, the Bible says a little bit about promises. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 4 and 5 says, when you make a promise to God, don't delay in following through. For God takes no pleasure in fools. Keep all the promises you make to him. It's better to say nothing than to make a promise and not keep it. Those are obviously good words from the Bible on making promises. Now, before we jump into the rest of tonight, I gotta tell you what the dumbest promise is I think I've ever made. I mean, let's face it, all of us make promises, all of us break promises. That's part of being a sinful human being. But I had been working at Camp Gormley. This was my 4th summer. Now, the first summer, I dated this one girl, and then we broke up. And
not
then,
me.
Not Leah. And then the second summer, I dated another girl, not the same as the first summers, and then we broke up.
Not me.
And then the third summer, I dated yet another girl, and then we broke up. So by the time 4th summer comes around, when I got to camp, I told my friend Joe that I had made a promise to God that I was not going to date anybody. It never worked. It was a distraction, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I was resolute in this thing. This wasn't just promise. This was like a vow, okay? This was serious. And then one day I'm standing in the kitchen washing dishes, just minding my own business. And I see this very small, short girl walking by outside.
Did she have ginormous hair?
She kind of had big hair. Yeah, and okay, keep in mind this was 1993. So, She goes walking by, and I'm just kind of watching her, and Joe looks at me, and he goes, "You have got to be kidding."
Was she cute?
Yeah, she was all right. He said, "You've got to be kidding me." I said, "What?" He goes, "You promised." I said, "Oh my goodness, Joe, I don't even know her. I've never even talked to her. I don't even know her name. She was just up there for the weekend." Well, then I don't know if it was later that day or the next day. Standing in the laundry room, again, just trying to mind my own business, do my job, and that girl walks in. And she said those magic words that just can melt anybody's heart. She said, "Do you have any cleaning supplies?" And it was one of those weird moments, I gotta tell you. And over the course of that summer, I tried my hardest to keep that promise I had made to God and not date anybody. But no, I ended up meeting Leah, and of course, we ended up getting married. Yeah, that's right. I do want to acknowledge Julie Bishop's retirement today. Congratulations, Julie. That's cool. Retirement well earned. Leah was telling me some of the antics that you've done over the years, and those kids will miss that. Hi, Stephanie Porter. She's stalking me again. All right. Thanks, Steph. I appreciate that. By the way, your sister cleaned my teeth today. She is a hygienist. It's not like just a random...
She's not one of those fish that...
Yeah, those little fish that swim in. And kind of felt like it, though. Well, hi, Randy and Jane. Nice to have you guys here. All right. Before we get into our songs, because I guess I should say, you're probably wondering, why am I talking about promises tonight? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. But first... we have our contest, which nobody has won yet. I give you the introduction to 4 songs on my guitar. It's not long, and you have to tell me who the artist is and what the name of the song is. And look, I'll admit, I've made this pretty tough. Tonight, y'all gotta get these. Come on now. Hey, Maddie. And I've been accused of just playing old songs, or I think it was referred to as old people songs. You are what you eat? That isn't right, because I don't eat old people. Anyways, so you've really got to be able to get these tonight, okay? So here's the first one for you. Just the introduction. And if you know all 4, send it in. If you get all 4 right, the first person to get them all, we will send a prize to you. Oh, hi, Christina. By the way, Christina, did you like that story about Light the Fire? Yeah. Good reason why I can't do that song anymore. Okay, here's your first song, everybody.
No sirloin burger.
Yeah, Jenny, no mini sirloin burger. I'm not playing that, okay? So here you go. First song. You can't get that. Come on.
Jenny just started watching.
Oh, okay, Jenny, then I'll say it just now. Again. I'm not doing mini sirloin burgers ever. Okay, here's song number 2. You guys got to get this one. Come on. Okay, here's song number 3. Whoops. Okay, now this is the only one that maybe it'll throw people off. Kelly's so old she can't remember the names. Yeah, I get
But
that.
she knows the songs.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's this one. See if you guys can figure this one out. This is, I think, the only one that's a little bit tough. And I'll just give you a clue. If you're old, and if you were heading down like a carefree highway and hearing this song, you would know it. Okay, there are your 4 songs. First person to get all the songs, title, and artist, I'll send you a prize. If I have your address.
Really, I mean, at this point, just one or the other.
No. I am not going to make this contest easier just because no one can get it. Because those are 4 pretty recognizable intros, I think. Okay, well, so you're probably wondering, I'm sure you're all just dying to find out why I talked about promises. Tonight's promise night. That's our theme. And it's the word of the night. And so every song we do is going to begin with each successive letter of the word promise. So the first song will start with a P. And let's not, Christina, if it helps if you don't mess up. Really. See, this is why I didn't want to do this live. Because I mess up all the time. But we're going to do our first song with the first letter of the word promise. And this has really nothing to do with promises. It just gets us in the right mood for worship. And this is a song in John Page. If you're listening, this is a song that I know you like. And it's called Praise Awaits You. Praise awaits you in this place today, O Lord. We are gathered ready, God, to sing your praise. We're ready to respond to the glories of your name, to the wonders of your heart, to your great love. Go, but you remain. So unchanging, all deserving of our praise. We're ready to respond to the glories of your name, to the wonders of your heart, to your great love. Hey, it's a good way to start it, huh? This one is a little awkward to sing at church when no one else is in the building, but praise still awaits him. Shane, will it be songs you learned at Promise Keepers? I've never been to Promise Keepers. And Shane, it's nice to have you with us. Oh, I forgot to mention our special guest tonight is Luke Skywalker's helmet. Not his head, just his helmet. That's kind of fun. Susie has 3, 4 missing number. Oh, okay. Jenny, come on. So, one of the things that I love about our God is He is faithful. He keeps His promises perfectly, always. We don't. In fact, we're not that great at it. It's not to say we can never keep our promises, because sometimes, sure, we do. But we're just not very good at it. I mean, I remember as a kid, I have one brother, an older brother, and we got along great. It reminds me a lot of the relationship Matthew and Cameron have with each other. But we always did this, Brad would say, hey, stop it. I'd say, okay. And he says, you promise you're going to stop it? And I'd be like, yes. And
You're okay.
I wouldn't. In fact, there was one time when we were playing Nerf basketball, and I don't know the exact wording of it, but it was kind of along the lines of, stop blocking my shots. And it was at Christmas time. And I said, okay. He would shoot, and I'd block it. Say, knock it off. Okay. Promise you won't block it? I promise. And then he shot it, and I blocked it. And then he came over and clubbed me upside the head with his giant arm. And so then I got down on my hands and knees and crawled over to the Christmas tree and threatened to take all of his Christmas presents out. And then he kicked me in the gut and knocked the wind out of me. That's one of our favorite Christmas memories in my family.
That's precious.
It is precious, yeah. So sometimes when you break your promise, you get kicked in the gut and you get the wind knocked out of you. And that's a terrible feeling. But the good news is that's not the case with God. God's never going to go back on His word. So here's one of the questions I have for you tonight. And you guys can chime in, please, on that chat. Just fill that thing up. I love reading the comments. That's so much fun. What are some of your favorite promises from God? Okay, there's a whole slew of promises that God has given to us. Like some of the biggies is that He's never going to flood the world again and kill everybody, so that's good. There's the promise that Jesus is going to come back. That's a great promise. Can't wait for that to happen. The promise that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, that's great. You will be saved. That's a great promise. So, go ahead and put in some of your favorite promises from God, and we'll share those as we can. And that's going to take us to our next song, which is the letter R. And this is one we've done before, but I love this song. And I'll tell you what my favorite promise is from the Bible after we do this song. But I think oftentimes we need to be reminded of who we are and what we have in Christ and the promises that He's given to us. So we're going to do this song called Remind Me Who I Am by Jason Gray. By the way, if you want lyrics, Jenny puts together a file every week that has the songs that we're going to do this evening. So if you want to sing along and you don't know the words, you can sure go to that file and find the lyrics for these songs. By the way, the giant hand of worship says hello. All right. Jenny, He loves with unfailing love. That's a good one. We're not doing that song tonight because there's no you in promise.
No, that was the promise.
No, I know. But Unfailing Love is her song that she always requests from the old Musk book.
I thought
See, I know what you're doing. All right. So this is Remind Me Who I Am by Jason Gray, one of my all-time favorite songs. Just love this one. Should I put on the hat for this one, you think? Is it country enough?
that never goes wrong.
Wow. Okay, then. Because I think this song can sound a little country. We're going to have a couple of these tonight. Shocking. never be enough. Finding who I am. If I'm your beloved, can you help me believe it? Tell me once again who I am, who I am to you. Oh, tell me if I forget who I am, I belong to you. I'm the one you love. I'm the one you love. That will be enough. And I'm the one you love. Tell me once again who I am to you. Who I am to you. Tell me lest I forget who I am to you, that I belong to you. Whoa, tell me once again who I am to you, who I am to you. Tell me lest I forget who I am to you, I belong to you. Yeehaw! Shane, Jenny, heart explosion, heart attack, lots of hearts. Haha. All right. Well. Uh-oh. Oh, goodness. I'm losing my guitar. I did shower today. That's an accomplishment. So, do we have any promises yet? Has anyone shared any promises yet? Let's see. Kelly, I will be with you always, even to the end of the age. Wait, Susie? Susie McKinney? Or Susie...
McKinney.
Oh. Susie McKinney apparently has won our contest. Well, we'll find out at the end, won't we? Okay, so my favorite is actually the same thing that Kelly just said. Thanks for stealing my thunder. It's from Matthew 28:20, where Jesus says, it's the last words in Matthew's gospel, where he says, "And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." I love that. That to me is that promise has carried me through so much. Just remembering that no matter what happens, no matter where I am, Jesus is with me. That is such an incredible promise. I was thinking today about these songs, and I was thinking about when Peter, when they were on the boat, and Jesus is walking on the water, and he tells Peter, "Come out to me." And Peter takes a step out of the boat, and he does okay. He's walking on water, so that's really cool right there. But then he starts seeing the waves and the wind, and he starts to lose his confidence, and he starts to sink. And of course, who's right there to reach into the water and pull him up but Jesus? Hi, Patty. Nice to have you here, Patty. Kathy, nope. Toilet still in bathtub. Yeah. We got a new one today, though, that will go in hopefully tomorrow. That's what y'all wanted to know, is the toilet issue at my house. But I was thinking about Peter, and Peter, that story to me is such a great story because that's us. You know, we go through life and we get caught in storms and we start to lose our confidence and we forget that promise that surely he will be with us always. Even when we start to sink, he's right there. And so, for our next song, which is the O in Promise, we are going to be doing a song that is it's a real favorite of Shane Benjaminson's. It's called Oceans. And really glad that we're doing this tonight. And I'm glad that Shane's here with us. Call me out upon the waters, great unknown. Feet may fail, there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours, and you are mine. Grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand be my guide. Feet may fail and fear surrounds me. Never fail. You won't start now. I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours, and you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. It's a good song. I don't sing that as well as Ellie and some of our Susie and Jess do, but Mandy Tuscan, for crying out loud. Wow. All the way in that, I think Tennessee, right? That's crazy. That's cool. Vicki Glassford, John 10, 9 and 10, I am the door.
There's a lot of words.
Anyone who enters by me will be saved. Go and find pasture. That's my wife's, I think, weird little paraphrase of that. But that's a great one. Popular song. You sing nice, babe. Who said that?
Me.
Oh, that's you. Good. Makes me feel a little bit better.
They all liked it too.
Oh.
A lot of love.
Oh, good.
Say hi to Stacy McCullough.
Stacy McCullough. Stacy McCullough?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, nice to have you. Okay, so with promises, with us, okay, between us people, there's always going to be some disappointments. Let me share with you one of the worst ones. Well, this isn't the worst. It didn't really hurt anybody that much. So my friend Bill, many of you have heard stories about Bill English over the years. When we do our camp night, which may be next week depending on weather, you will hear one of the great Bill stories of all time. Bill was my best friend. Sadly, he died of brain cancer in his late 20s, which is... I still think about the guy every day. I can't wait to see him again. But Bill and I were roommates, and I had this yard that probably 75% of it was rock, and he wanted to remove the rock. And so he said, hey, on Saturday, can you help me load up all this rock? Oh, yeah, sure. Well, then I was at church, and at this time I was going to Bethel, and Pastor Dave asked me if I would build a jukebox that he was going to use as a part of his sermon for that Sunday. So I just got all into this thing. I mean, I'm painting. I mean, it looked just like a jukebox by the time I got done. But it took me most of the day. So I got back to my house, and there's Bill. And Bill didn't lose his temper very much. But Bill was mad. And he came over and he said, look, you promised me you were going to help. And I've had to do this all by myself all day. And now I'm just about done. And I would love to say that I was just repentant and said, I'm really sorry. Instead I used the whole, God needed me at church. That was a really lame excuse. God needed me to fulfill my promise to Bill and help my brother out. Now, Bill had the last laugh. I think I shared this years ago in a sermon. The next day, he had got this truck, this big truck with a huge, covered bed and everything that he'd filled with all this rock. And so he said, hey, can you at least come out to the dump with me and help me shovel it out? Of course. So after church, we head out to the dump, and it's like 104 degrees outside. It's so hot, and we are just dying shoveling all this rock out of this truck. We get back in, we drive back. Bill was driving, okay? That's an important point here. We get back, and he had borrowed this truck from some old guy, and we went to drop it back off, and the old guy comes out, and he looks in the back, and he goes, boys, why do you guys have all the shovels? And Bill said, well, it's because we had to get rid of all the rock back here. I said, guys, this is a dump truck. Right next to the steering wheel on the left-hand side, I couldn't see it from where I was a button this big, bright red, with bright white letters, dump. So, Bill kind of got the last laugh on me with that one, but it stinks when promises get broken between us. And I know that sometimes you may feel like God has forgotten a promise that He's made in the Bible to us, but He hasn't. I think sometimes He says, just wait. I'm not, because He's not going to go back on His word. I guarantee that. Shane, Corey is that friend. I am, buddy. You know I'm here for you. Sometimes you may feel like you're doing everything you possibly can just to hold on in this life. Maybe things are just crashing around and you feel like you're disappointed. You might be disappointed with God Himself. You might be disappointed with other people. It might be a combination of all of it. And let me just encourage you to hold on. This next song we're doing, which is for the letter M, celebrates the fact that we have a rock that we can hold on to. That amidst the storms of life, this rock will never leave us, and we can always count on Him. And of course, that rock is Jesus. And that song is My Feet Are on the Rock. I've never sung this without the rest of the group. We'll see how this goes. When I'm dancing in the rain, that's usually not me singing that, but I always have to deal with that tonight. You know what? My boys, when they first heard this song, they said, Dad, what's that country song you did? I didn't think it sounded very country at all, but apparently it does. So the hat has to come back for that one. I can see clouds rolling. I can feel the winds, they try to shake me. I will not be moved. My feet are on the rock. I can feel the waters rise. I can hear the howling lights that hold me. Fear won't hold me now. My feet are on the rock. And I feel my hope about to break. I will go on changing grace. Let the water come and the earth give way. I'll be dancing in rain. My feet are on the rock. Hey, honey, come over here and turn that page. And I can see the morning light. I can feel the joy on the horizon. Hear my faith is found. Stand on solid ground. And I feel my hope about to break. I will do your changing grace. Let the waters come and the earth give way. I'll be dancing in rain. My feet are on the rock. On Christ's solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Start beating, clap your hands. Our feet are on the rock. On Christ's solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Start beating, clap your hands. Our feet are on the rock. And I feel my hope about to break. I will do your changing grace. Let the waters come and the earth give way. I'll be dancing in rain. And I feel my hope about to break. I will do your changing grace. Let the waters come and the earth give way. I'll be dancing in rain. My feet are on the rock. My feet are on the rock. My feet are on the rock. Ah, I love that song. Yeehaw!
They were trying to pressure me into singing.
Oh gosh.
I said I'd wake the dog.
Yeah, once again, Rex has done his bit in our theme song for the night, and now he's sleeping in the floor right next to me. Unshakable dog. That could be a song. Unshakable dog. All right. I love that song, by the way.
Unshakable dog?
No, my feet are on the rock. I've often asked myself, would I like me if I met me? I'm not so sure. Sometimes. Maybe sometimes I probably wouldn't. I get frustrated when sin rears its ugly head in my life. And, you know, it makes me doubt who I am. But, see, we already sang Remind Me Who I Am. So I can't really... That wasn't a good segue at all. The next song, though, I think really hits on a great promise we have of God. And I think it's one we need to be reminded of quite a few times throughout our life, and it's from 2 Corinthians 5:17. It says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come." So this is a song that I think maybe I've done once at church, so it's not one that's real common that we've done. If you're a fan of Jason Gray, who did Remind Me Who I Am, this is another one of his, one of my favorites of his, that I think just really reminds us well of that promise that we are indeed new creations. I won't deny the worst you could say about me. I'm not defined by mistakes that I've made, because God says of me, I am not who I was. He remained, I am new. I'm chosen and holy, and I'm dearly loved. I am new. I am new. I thought I was who I thought I had to be. Had to give them the love. Neither were willing to add them. I am not who I was. He remained. I am new. I'm chosen and holy, and I'm dearly loved. I am new. I am new. Too long have I lived in the shadows of shame, believing that there was no way it could change. But the one who is
righteous and holy, born and remade, accepted and worthy, this is our new name. This is who we are now.
That's a good song.
I think I like to sing.
That's a good one. That's what it's called. I Am New by Jason Gray. Okay, well, one of the things that I really love doing, oh wow, can't believe how much time goes by. I love sharing scar stories. You get any group of guys together and within minutes they'll be pointing out to, well, I got this one from this. And, I don't have a lot of scars. I've never had a broken bone, which is kind of crazy. I have a scar, I'm not going to show you as I thought I was going to for a second, on my middle finger from a few years ago when I tried cutting it off with the hedge trimmer. I have a scar on the bottom of my chin from slamming it on the side of a swimming pool. I have this weird little scar on my hand, and it's in a kind of a weird little like H shape. And it was from when I was doing youth ministry. We're doing this stupid game, and this girl tripped and fell and hit my hand with her face, and her braces got jammed into my hand. So I pulled it out, and it left this cool little H thing from her braces. But one of my favorites is, you can't see it, but I have a scar on my forehead. And that was from when my brother and I were kids, and we accidentally headbutted, and I hit his mouth, and a piece of his front tooth broke off and got stuck in my forehead. It explains a lot. So, I love this song because it not only reminds us that our pain and suffering produces good things in us, which it does. It's never easy to go through. But the pain and suffering that Jesus went through produced our ultimate good, which is our salvation and his joy. And it's the scars in our lives that kind of remind us of these times that we've been through and how God has grown us and taught us. So this song is called Scars.
Waking up to a new sunrise, looking back from the other side, I can see now with open eyes, darkest water and deepest pain, I wouldn't trade it for anything. 'Cause my brokenness brought me to you, and these wounds are a story you'll use. So I'm thankful for the scars, 'cause without them I wouldn't know your heart, and I know they'll always tell of who you are. So forever I am thankful for the scars. Now I'm standing in confidence with the strength of your faithfulness. And I'm not who I was before. No, I don't have to fear anymore. So I'm thankful for the scars, 'cause without them I wouldn't know your heart, and I know they'll always tell of who you are. So forever I am thankful for the scars. In your hands and your feet, I found my victory.
Oh, notice my dog back there just having a heck of a time. Well, something woke him up, and I think it was my son Matthew getting him wound up.
Clean elbow.
Oh, if you need your elbow licked, Rex is good for that. Okay, so that takes us to Shane, promise. Today, today you will be with me in paradise. Yeah, speaks to the love of God. Isn't that the truth, huh? Even a thief on a cross probably knew very, very little about who Jesus was, but knew enough to put his trust in him. So, okay, so we believe Susie McKinney has figured out the contest and has gotten them all right. Well, let's double check and see before we get to our last song. The first song was
La 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 la.
Everything to do. That's Wild World by Cat Stevens. Second song, see, this is an easy one.
She's a good girl. Her mama loves Jesus. Never to, and I'm free.
Missed a few words though.
Free.
Okay, that's Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
He sings it better.
Yeah, just a little. Third song. If I can play it. Jump to the chorus.
Don't you know I'll always love you? Even before there's time.
That is I've Always Loved You by Third Day. And the final song, which I knew it would take someone old to get it. Oh, shots fired. I'll be hearing that with the praise team meeting.
If I could read your mind, love, what a tale your thoughts could tell.
If I Could Read Your Mind by Gordon Lightfoot, who was one of my dad's favorites, and I really like Gordo. So the last song is one, and I saved this for last, not just because it was an E. I don't have a lot of E options. But I love this one because this one just reiterates the great promise that all of us learned in a classic Sunday school song called Jesus Loves Me. It's the greatest promise there is. And this song is called Even Me by I Am They.
He knows my thoughts, the things that no one sees. He knows my heart, with every broken piece. Somehow still, I'm held by this one thing. Somehow still, I'm held by this one thing. Yes, Jesus loves me, even me, even me. I stand forgiven and
great promise to end on. So, I hope you've been encouraged tonight. Maybe I should have picked a smaller word. Leah came up with that. Kristen Smith just joined. You know what? You can catch it on the replay if you want to, Chris. That's cool. Great to have y'all with me again tonight. I love having y'all in my living room every Thursday night.
It's not very crowded.
No, it's not very crowded at all. Plenty of places to sit. Yeah. Again, thank you, Luke Skywalker's Helmet, for joining us. Thank you, Rex, for our theme song. Thank you to my production manager, Leah Smith, and for the assistant to the production manager, Matthew Smith, whose only job tonight apparently was getting the dog riled up, which you probably saw in the background. So I hope y'all have a great evening, and if we're going to do campfire songs next week, I will let you know. It's going to just kind of depend on the weather forecast, so I'll keep you up to date on that. So, Mandy Tuscan, one of my fave songs. Mandy, it's so cool. I hope you appreciated the cowboy hat. So, y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you again soon. Yay.